fishing holes and ponds.
You're fitting well. You're
Spending
fitting
many
in
days
well,
with her,
Chork.
I grew very fond of her. And the days passed slowly, and then my father came to me, telling me that I would be sent away to be studied in a far off lands, which this I did not know of. And he was basically going to force me there. And I had within 48 hours to make my way back to home, gather my belongings, and return to the estate where I would be prepared to join the other students at the what would be known as the,
Whoa.
let me find this real quick. Sorry for this delay. The
Whilst he's telling all this, we're all very sort of like avidly listening and paying a great deal of attention to it, and kind of just nodding at the right moments, especially when it kind of like resonates with something that we've experienced ourselves.
Well, Elephane is actually looking around, making sure nothing's like going to kill her.
Yeah. Have you got your next thing?
Yes. He was going to force me to go to the boarding schools, far off lands, many, many miles from my friends and my home. With the fact that my mother and father did not really care for me, it was not too much of a problem, and it seemed like a good choice or a good journey to take. But I was torn. My friends were here, and the people that I thought I loved. The day came to when I had less than a few hours to decide whether I was going to run away or going to go as my father insisted. There I thought long and hard, talking to my friend, April Anna, the young lady who was part of the servant quarters. There I was not allowed to be with them, knowing I would be punished. Several times I had been scorned and shunned, telling me not to ever join these people in their dinners, their social lives, for they are lesser people and we do not associate. Feeling this, that I did need some companionship and some comfort, I found that my friends of the servants were more of my family than my mother and father, that did not have time for me. I learned their ways, studying them hard as a student would. More or less, I found myself more at home with these people than with my family, so I tend to stay with them as much as I could. Therefore, it kind of growed on me to want to be with these people. So I decided on my own that I would like to stay with these people rather than go to the schools or the boarding lanes to study my trait further. The day came that April Anna and I decided to go off to the waterfalls to decide my fate and to tell her that I must leave or that I must run away. Her decision that I should stay was of great concern to her. She did not want me to leave, but yet she knew if I stayed that I would be in trouble, for being around her and her family was of great dishonor to my family. Being of a high nobility, it, it is not likely that I would ever see these people again. And this was a heartbreak to me at an early age. Upon trying to gather some fish from the rivers for a small yet tranquil kind of joyful last experience, April Anna had fallen in the river and had seemingly become unconscious. Not knowing this, I dove into the river, trying to save her, risking my own life. The water was very cold, and she was down very deep. It seemed to me that she was already past, but I had to try. With all my strength, I dove into the river, swimming as hard as I could to find out where she was, diving in several times. It took me several moments, but I did find her. Yes, she was dead.
Oh, she
With all my
died.
strength, all my might, the love for this woman, this
Oh.
young lady, drove me to the point and the brink of almost total and utter exhaustion. Madness crept over me. I felt the pain, I felt the sorrow of missing this young woman. How my life would be different without her. The rage boiled into my blood. Something grew over me. I shouted to the heavens. I cried to the shadows, to the fiends below. You will not take her from me. An aura about me, seemingly growing over me, with a peace that I had never felt before, grew into me and back into the young lady, filling me with joy, and seemingly without knowing, unconsciously, I collapsed, awaking to the sight of Liliana hugging and kissing me. It was as if a dream had hit me in the face. This young woman was alive, but yet she was dead. How could this be? For I awoke again, thinking that it was a dream, but no, it was real. She was alive again. And how could this be? For she said that I had healed her, that I was a magical person, and I did not know this. For when the day was ending, and we must had returned, that she would have to tell her family what had happened to her, and therefore I would be in danger. My father would not understand. I was scared, but yet I faced my fears. Going back home, hearing that the child and I was missing, the people had come out to find me. The guards had took me away, taking me back to my father's estate. Hearing the stories of the town people, he sent me away to the Tower of High Circle Mages. There I stayed for more than 16 years, spending my time studying as I always did in my previous younger age. I eventually became the age of 20, and there I took my heroin test of manhood, facing the shadow demons down as they tempted me with tricks and treasures. They used the young female as bait to me, using her against my wills, trying to drive me to their side, forcing me and pushing me in the direction that I knew was not the way I wanted to be. Again, feeling the same way as my father, pushing me, always pushing me. I broke free from their grasp, knowing it was not real, knowing that my love was still alive. She was safe. I had saved her. I broke through this test, finding out my strength, becoming a man. Within the next 10 years, the last part of
You guys are great.
Mages, I became a spirit healer in the Tower of Circle Mages until the day that I met Bella.
Tiamat is starting to leave the nest, everyone.
And I would be going with her upon a journey. A journey that will change my life forever. A journey to manhood, and a journey that will never end until the day that I pass.
Upon the completion of his tale, I kind of almost feel that anything I'm going to say is going to be quite trite sounding. But I kind of like,
Nice, Evan.
Listen, I can understand where he's coming from, but a lot of us have had quite similar experiences, especially in the tower, and I find it very strange that even though we have both literally been in such close quarters for at least the past 4 years, that we have not actually really even exchanged a word prior to literally kind of this moment, and I find that very, very strange. And then I glance over at the other two individuals sat around the fire, and I'm curious if they are going to join us in our discussion.
That was a hell of a backstory, man. I didn't expect such a detailed backstory like that. Hats off, dude.
Thanks, man.
I turn, ask Elfane if she sees the 9-headed lizard coming out of the bush.
Well, I didn't see nothing.
It's all a dream.
And I
Was it a
ask
night
if my
shoot
friend
for that?
Io can appear and take his child away.
Anybody else gonna talk around the campfire? That was a good story, man. Very detailed. A little bit of love, a little bit of trauma, a little bit of childhood. I like it.
I stand up and I turn around and go, who's going to be taking what watch, or are we going to be doing watches in twos again?
We'll do it in twos.
Okay,
Nobody's
4
going to let you
hours
get
each.
away with it.
Okay, me.
Yeah, it was a
and
good backstory. Although I was
Bella
having
will
fun
take
at the
first
very
watch,
end. It
and
was
Elfane
it was
and
still a good.
Aziza will take
I
second.
that totally took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting that. It was very nice. I enjoy
Okay,
lengthy
out of
backstories
game
like
for a
that.
second.
I really do.
Really, guys?
Really? It's like, I know he's doing his backstory and all, but Kunari are generally emotionless. I'm just trying to RP like that.
No, it's nighttime, Evan. It's nighttime
I mean-
outside right now.
Never mind. It's not my place.
Miss Cellophane, this is very good conies.
Oh.
Thanks.
Yes, this is a good box. No, rabbit.
Good box.
I was sitting there going, were we eating a fox or a rabbit?
Alright, so are you guys going to be setting up camp, or are you guys going to be continuing to discuss things around the campfire? Are you guys going to sleep? Watches? What's going on?
I looked at Alexander and I say to him, "How did a canary end up this far south?
I
Tell us
got.
a little of your journey."
I was born into a small Canary family. I was born without horns. When I was born, my mother died,
Did they rip your horns
and
off?
after
Oh.
that, I was raised
No, they
by
didn't.
another Canary in the ways of the bear sod, and I was sent out into the world at the age of 20.
And how is it that you actually ended up this far south?
Just wandering. I tend to wander sometimes.
I now look to Elephane and say, "How did you end up partnering up with
Oh,
with
Bella.
our
Encouraging
large
roleplay.
homeless
I love
friend
it.
over here?"
You had the biggest
Well,
coin purse.
Exactly.
Sorry about that. That horse is starting to smell pretty bad as well.
Yeah, I kind of figured that.
Okay,
He
never
looks
mind.
bigger
Okay,
range.
back in game then. Forget it. Go on. Move on.
Oh no, I was just saying the horse is starting to smell pretty bad, but no, you guys do your thing. You guys are around the campfire, so
I kind of turn my head and go, "Miss Elephane, could you tell us a little about yourself, if you would like?"
Oh, there's very little to tell that, but I will give you some information. My family is not particularly in the world, so to speak. We're kind of off base, and we don't really associate with very many people. We live and die by our own. I'm the youngest of 7 brothers and sisters. I've trained from the age of 10 to live off the land and move silently as possible without a trace. It's something that everyone in our family is taught from a very young age. Get work as I can, mostly by leading people around. Some odd jobs that might be questionable to some, but you know, it's just the way of the world.
Yep.
you know, and as you guys are eating your coney, your rabbit, you have also foraged for some vegetables, so you've got a pretty nice little rabbit stew going, and you're able to eat and enjoy things for a little while. And all of a sudden, in the faint distance, you start to hear a loud wheezing and mocking type of laughter, and it seems to be drifting out in the distance into the trees.
As I'm just starting to tell my story of my life, that happens. Okay.
No,
I kind of
you can no, but this is way off in the distance. You definitely have time.
It's my backstory. I don't.
I stand up at this point when we start hearing the chuckles, and I kind of start looking around like, we might have company.
Oh, we don't have company just yet because the dungeon master says so. So no, please, Bella, continue. It was
I
way off into
kind
the
of
distance.
cool. Okay. I kind of look over to Aziza and I say, your story in a lot of ways resonated with mine, as although I was born in a far off land, far, far to the west,
In a
in
galaxy far,
a
far
country
away.
called Olay, I too myself had a very solitary, very lonely childhood and upbringing. When I wished to have any kind of companionship, I definitely needed to look outside of my family, who were definitely more interested in the socializing that they did with the nobles of the kingdom, who seemed to fawn all over them simply due to my family name and a relative that I have. However, I did sometimes tag along with them when they went along to the grand. Wow, okay, I've completely forgot what it's called now. The Grand Cathedral in Val Royale, which is the capital of Orlais, and I found that a few of the serfs and servants' children were quite pleasant to spend time with. I mean, I'm not going to say that these visits went without incident. I mean, there were a few incidents, and one of those in particular was at least the first time I realised myself that I had the gift of, or curse, as some call it, of magic flowing through my veins.
It's a good
But
game, Chork.
more of that maybe later.
The Dragon Age tabletop game, really good.
I was slightly younger than yourself when I was moved into the White Spire, which is the Orlesian version of Circle Tower. And from the age of 9, I was removed from my family. I was barred and banned from any contact and speaking to them whatsoever. And the stay there, at least initially, was difficult. I definitely missed my family greatly. Wished that I could have spoken to them more when I actually was with them. But very quickly, and still over time, I got used to the monotony and the even the solitary nature of being a member of the White Spire. I definitely enjoyed the quiet moments without any disturbance, where I could read and study, and even managed to begin socializing with people. I was quite a antisocial child. However, I did manage to make a few people I would consider to be acquaintances, maybe even friends, whilst I was there. Just prior to actually leaving Whitespire, I went through my harrowing. That was a little too painful to really recount the tale of my harrowing. It was very upsetting. No sooner had I actually gone through my harrowing than I was told, in no uncertain terms, by the first enchanter of the White Spire, that I would be going with a diplomatic delegation to the Lake Callahan in Ferelden, to their Circle Tower.
Hey, what's up, David? How you doing, man?
Once I arrived
Good
there,
first story, man.
they
I really
suddenly
enjoyed
sprang
it.
on me that I would no longer
Thanks for putting that
be able
up
to
there. I
see
appreciate
anyone
it.
from White Spire. I was being transferred, which is when I initially encountered you. Look at that, Ziza. And I just kind of trail off from there as we hear the chuckling.
Yes, I've seen you from time to time, but yet Without a word, you seem to pass me by. So,
Love
I've
is
tended
in
my
the
business.
air.
No, it really isn't.
Just kidding. Yes, I know it's not.
And the point being, to the person that's asked, no, neither of the elves can sing.
Great story as well, Bella.
There's a lot more to it.
Or shall I call you Cryptid?
Uh,
Or should I call you Belle? We don't know.
no, there is a lot more to it, but I think for this evening there is some chuckling going on that we need to deal with.
How close is the cynical laughter now?
It's definitely a lot closer, and you actually don't hear this as Bella is going into her story. But as she finishes, you still kind of, it's like sort of like a moment of quietness, and everybody's just kind of enjoying the moment, eating. You just kind of chuckle at one another, and you do start to hear these cackles again. They're much louder, they're much closer, and you can actually hear footsteps all around you. So you think you could be surrounded. I want everybody to give me a willpower courage test, please.
Are we actually just around the campfire, or how close are we to the nearest kind of like protected area with the carriages that we kind of like put together?
You're several feet away from the carriages. Wow, kick-ass rolls, everybody.
Which one should I use for
Willpower.
I don't have one.
I
don't have it.
You should have a willpower macro.
Yes, you will have a willpower macro.
Okay, I see now. It's
Yep.
20. Okay.
And if do you have the ability focus called courage? If you have the ability focus courage, then you will add 2 more in there. Oh, very nice. As the laughter gets louder, and it seems that you are surrounded, you can see some creatures starting to emerge from the forest. It seems like these creatures are jackal-like in appearance and have glowing reddish eyes, and they are rushing into the camp as they are cackling and laughter starts from these dark spawn. And
Do I recognize them as a... Oh, sorry,
yes,
you said dark spawn. Sorry.
everyone recognized them as Revengers.
What
and
would I
they're-
know of Revengers?
That they are a nasty creature.
Okay.
You've never encountered them before, and there are 4 of them.
Have I read anything about them at all in all the books that I've read?
You really don't know a whole lot about the Revengers. All that you know that you know what they look like, basically.
I do now.
You definitely you had known what they were. It's because the jackal appearance gives them away, and the red eyes. So
Cool.
you know that they do have claw attacks and bites. You know that they do attack with both. So now what we're going to do is we are going to roll initiative. So I will do 1 initiative roll, and if you have the dexterity initiative modifier, please add that in as well.
David, how are you dealing with matched rolls? Like, there's 3 of us with 11.
You can sort that out amongst yourselves. Actually, who had the higher dragon dice? Ties always refer to the dragon die, so.
That'd be Bell,
That would be
then
myself with
Aziza,
5.
then Alexander.
Okay.
Me, Aziza, then Alexander.
So it looks like Elephant is first, and then Aziza second.
Me, Aziza, and then Alexander.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're going in descending order, not ascending order?
And all of the Revengers are going last, which is definitely good for you guys. So it seems to be definitely a hairy situation. You have 4 Revengers. They are bipedal or quadrupedal creatures. You've seen several stalking in on all fours, and you've seen several stalking in on their hind legs. And initiative's been rolled. Elephane, you are up, sir.
Do they actually have a dimensional dock? I just saw one jump from there.
I just moved them a little bit.
I know.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is move up so Bella is not flanked by both of them. This one right here.
Okay. You are going to be attacking that Revenger. Let's see some stunts, man. I want to see some stunts.
You would have if that hits.
I doubt it does.
That is not a hit. That is a miss. You barely miss it, but the arrow zings directly past the head of the Revenger. Alright, you want to make any other movements or anything like that? I guess your minor action is reloading your bow?
Yeah, the minor action will be reloading, and I will look at my bow with disappointment.
Okay. Bell, you are up.
I will, if you'll allow, move slightly back and turn towards this one here.
Okay.
That's my movement action.
Okay.
I'm kind of like right behind Elephant, so we're kind of almost kind of back to back, kind of.
Okay.
And then I will Arcane Lance. I'm assuming that it's, even though it's quite dark, the light from the fire means that we can quite clearly see them.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely the entire encampment is lit up pretty nicely.
Fire an Arcane Lance shot at this one here, please.
Okay. I think you're going to have to make your to-hit roll for the Arcane Lance. And let's see a stunt on that.
Really? That also, I am assuming, doesn't hit.
That is a miss. The Arcane Lance hits the ground in front of the Revenger, and it just skulls and continues to advance. Aziza, you are up.
Alright, I'm going to reach into the...
Man, these guys need to stop
grab the
rolling
biggest
bad.
stick with the most flame on it. And I'm going to turn myself to around here with the sort of clubbish fire in my hand, readying the mace, and as Bella finishes her Arcane Lance, I want to step forward and see how much movement I can get and how close.
Yeah, you should have plenty of movement. On your character sheets, you guys will notice that, first off, sorry to break the action here, 2 things about your character sheets. I will add XP after the game, so you see that you all got 500 experience per person last week. And then you will also notice in the same box the speed factor. You will notice that you do have a 14-yard movement, well, for you, Belle, but that translates into 42 feet in roll 20 because, like I said last week, we cannot do any kind of measurement in yards. So
yeah,
we will
I actually
convert it to feet
next to it. Yeah.
So yeah, I did that with all of the character sheets. So that will be your movement in feet within roll 20. All right, continue. Sorry about that,
All right.
Aziza.
So with the fire on the stick in my hand, I'll be waving that one to try to intimidatingly scare it as I ready the mace to come up to club it.
Okay.
And here goes my attack.
All right. Let's get a hit. You guys need some good rolls. 3d6 plus, I believe, strength, because staff is a strength weapon, and if you have any other staff talents or anything like that. And that is a hit, my friend. And you don't have any stunt points, you don't have any doubles, so that is a hit, and go ahead and roll your damage.
Oh, David, it's my mistake, but mine should have also been hit. I didn't put my bonus on. It's my mistake, though. Never mind.
No, it's no problem. We'll go back.
It's asking me for target armor rating?
The target's armor rating is 3.
Did I do that right? Let's see. Mace damage is 1.
You don't have to add any type of plus in there. You just add, if it's 3, just do 3. Or if you have a modifier like a buff or anything like that, you can add the modifiers in there as well. So